Well, of course, have your records from the FBI. I never did ask for any of my records. I don't know if they'd be large or small or whatever.
Your record
But
probably much more extensive than mine.
I do remember that one time I was called by an agent, FBI agent, and he called a couple of times, and just wanted to talk. He said. So I said, "Well, what do you want to talk about?" He said, "Just regular talking." Said our bureau just wants to know, wants to get into a lot of the neighborhoods and try to just talk to some of the people that are involved in civil rights and things like that, so that they'd get an idea of who to be talking to and uh, just things like that. So he said, "I'd like to talk to you." I said, "Well, okay." I kind of felt that was, kind of my duty to talk to the FBI. So met him up in Martinsburg,
Hmm.
and he pumped me and he pumped me and he pumped me.
Were you the state president then or before that?
I was state president then,
Okay.
and he pumped me and he pumped me and pumped me for information. And of course, I tried to be as general, as possible. But he called me that one time. At least I met with him one time in a restaurant up there, and I never met him or never heard from him again. I don't know if state presidents, NAACP state presidents, had been contacted in the region or all over, but their story was that they're just trying to meet people in the community. So I, of course, felt it might have been something else, trying to find out what was being planned and all like that, because that was during an area when there was not a whole lot of confidence in FBI, and they were trying to get to black neighborhoods, talk to black people, and evidently try to cook up something, as we later learned, later on. So that was my only experience with the FBI. Now, what they have on me in their files, I don't know.
Well, a strange thing you mentioned about cooking things up, and they will cook things up. I guess when I looked at my file, I saw where they accused me of being head of the Black Cats. They said that back in the '60s, late '60s, that I met in a hotel, Uptowner, down in Huntington. I met with Phil Carter, and that Phil Carter and myself was going to get together on a certain Saturday. He was going to bring the corpsman from Ohio. I was going to bring the corpsman from Anthony. We were going to meet in Huntington, and we was going to raise Cain, tear the place up. I never. This is in my record now. Well, I didn't know all this, and it just so happened that that Thursday before I was supposed to go to Huntington to take the corpsman down for a trip, because the girls' job corps center was down there. I got a call from the center director. I'm home now. Tell me I didn't have to hurry up to come back for Saturday. He had someone else to take the trip for me. Now, it didn't make sense. Here I am, the recreation director. I didn't plan the trip, got everything all set up, and he called me at home and told me I don't have to come down and take the trip. And so I said no. So I came on down anyhow, and I took the trip. But he shipped an extra staff person down there with me. And nice trip and everything. And I never realized what happened until years later when I read this thing that they really thought that we're going to cause trouble down there as Black Cats. And I guess I wonder where they get this stuff from. But then the more and more I look at it, I believe that if you know the FBI at that time, they also had informers in the black community.
Oh yeah.
And lots of times these black informers will make up stuff.
Right.
And I think this is what happened. I think there was probably some informer in that group that more or less didn't care for Phil too much, I guess, or care for me, and made up a lie like that. And I guess as I look through my record, I see a whole lots of things there that are really inaccurate, and lots of them have come from black guys that has made these statements about me that is definitely untrue. I don't know why they do something like that. But
But like I said, I haven't ask for my records, even though I know I can get them. I just never had no desire to look at them. So.
Well, those records can keep you from being promoted or
Right.
a whole lot. So I know my records kept me from promotion and a whole lots of good opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I was unaware that that anyone could really, well, government official can get into your record.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. Since you were in personnel, something that really always shocked me. The OPS files, right?
Yeah.
They're confidential.
Right.
Now
that was years and years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
That they were confidential. Yeah.
And you had to go to personnel. You had to go to the personnel office in order to look at
Right.
it.
Well, later on, yeah.
Later, okay. Well, this must have been around in the early 1970. After I had some problems out with the Grand Canyon and so forth, I got a telephone call down in Washington. I was at the National Capital Region. Someone said, go down there into the training office. There is a envelope on the table for you. Don't know who it was. Tolbert. I go down to the training office and to get this envelope. Open up and guess what it was?
What's that?
My OPF file.
Mm.
My OPF file. I think I still have it here. I was shocked. What is my OPF file doing laying down there on the table? And I'm having it. A couple of days later, I go to the personnel office, look at my OPF file, and guess what's there?
What's that?
My OPF file. Alvin, there are 2 copies of my OPF file. Can you believe that? Now you were in personnel. How could that happen?
Yeah. You should only have 1 copy.
So that means somebody
Duplicated it for somebody else.
Yes.
Somebody in personnel.
But it's amazing some of the stuff I read in there, because one thing in there, this must have been a special one, because there were some comments made in mine by the director of the training center at Grand Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
He said, keep an eye on Rutherford. He is a troublemaker and he gets stuff stirred up. Now, I never got nothing stirred up in Grand Canyon. Mm-hmm. But they keep an eye on Rutherford. He's a troublemaker and he gets stuff stirred up. And I think what they're talking about is when I was out in Grand Canyon for a training trip, there was the dormitories for different people, also for the workers. And there was a dormitory for the Indians. Indians had been their own dormitory. And I'll never forget that. And during that training session, Russ Dickerson, who was the director of the National Capital Region, he finally wound up being the director of the Park Service. He came there to talk to us, and out of the clear blue sky, no question and answer, I say, Russ, we talk about EEO and equal opportunity. I say, here we sitting here in Grand Canyon, got the Indians out here in their own dormitory. How can you justify that? Boy, the head of the doggone training center, he was shocked. I mean, he was upset that I asked a question like that. And Russ, he said, I was unaware of it, George. And that's all he said. He said, just you're not getting. And then after the session over, Russ came to me and said, well, George, when you come back to Washington, stop in the office sometime, we can talk. Russ was a nice guy. He was a real nice guy. So about maybe 6 months later, I back out in Grand Canyon again, and all the dormitories are integrated. But here it was in my record now.
Right.
But the guy made the statement that watch Rutherford, he's a troublemaker, and all I did was question something like that. So I guess I really get disturbed that people can put things in your record that really have an effect on you.
Right.